Brandon Sklenar's 10 Best Movies and TV Shows. Getting his acting start in the early 2010s, Brandon Sklenar has built an underrated resume of movies and TV shows, with his popularity as an actor growing larger with each new role. Sklenar's on-screen debut was in the 2011 film Cornered. After that, he began appearing in a variety of movies and TV shows, which included Vice, Midway, New Girl, and Emily the Criminal. Sklenar's major breakthrough role was in 1923 on Paramount+, a prequel to the monumental hit series, Yellowstone, while also acting as a sequel to 1883. The Yellowstone franchise has been one of the most lucrative franchises for Paramount. With 1923's success, Sklenar has been able to continue to show his immense talent, and with roles in upcoming movies like The Housemaid and Drop, his stock as an actor should continue to grow. Covering the first 6 months in the Pacific theater of World War II, Midway is one of the better modern films in blockbuster director Roland Emmerich's filmography. It's not an amazing movie by any means, but Emmerich is able to craft an exciting film that looks great and attempts a balanced point of view about the events it is depicting. It's worth watching for sure, but it isn't anything to truly write home about. With the screen time he is given, Brandon Sklenar is solid in his role as George Tex Gay, a Douglas TBD Devastator pilot who participated in the Battle of Midway. Given that the film depicts real people, Sklenar's performance honors George Gay, giving him the respect he deserves. While it might not be the biggest role in the film, it shows how great of an actor Sklenar is. The Offer is a biographical miniseries chronicling the development and production of The Godfather, one of the greatest films ever made, and a landmark of cinema. Nominated for Best Limited Series at the Critics' Choice Awards, The Offer is a fascinating look at a pivotal moment in film history, featuring some knockout performances along the way, particularly from Matthew Goode as Robert Evans and Juno Temple as Betty McCart. It's not perfect by any means, but an enjoyable miniseries for fans of the film. He only appears in one episode, but Brandon Sklenar is fantastic as Burt Reynolds, the legendary Hollywood actor. His part in the series revolves around getting him to sign on for the longest yard. While it's only one episode, Sklenar gives a memorable performance as Reynolds, capturing everything that made him so compelling as an actor during his heyday. Walker. Independence was a prequel series for Walker on the CW, following Catherine McNamara's character, Abby Walker, a wealthy Bostonian whose husband is killed while traveling west. While it was quickly canceled and ran for only one season, Walker. Independence was a solid addition to the Walker mythology, and McNamara was great in the lead role, even if the series didn't draw it in the same numbers that Walker did. Brandon Sklenar only appears in the pilot, but since he plays Liam Collins, husband of Abby Walker, who is killed in the episode, he is incredibly important to the entire season's plot, acting as the initial driving motivation for Abby. It's unfortunate that Sklenar was only in that one episode, but he is fantastic during his scenes, making his death all the more impactful when it does happen. Released in January 2025, Green and Gold is about a Wisconsin farmer who bets on the Green Bay Packers to help save his farm. It's a rather simple, straightforward narrative, but it features some heartfelt performances and depicts farm life in an authentic, respectful way. It's a character-driven drama with some great actors portraying interesting characters throughout its runtime, making a rather small-scale narrative feel grander than it actually looks on paper. Brandon Sklenar plays a pivotal role in Green and Gold as Billy, a musician who strikes up a friendship with Madison Lawler's Jenny, the granddaughter of the farmer Buck. Billy presents another side and perspective to the story, specifically for Jenny and her dreams of being a musician. Sklenar is great in the role, bringing a lot of charm to his character. Running for 7 seasons, New Girl was one of the funniest sitcoms when it was airing, featuring some beloved characters that have remained a staple of the genre for years. While a lot of its humor can feel random, that's what makes New Girl so charming. As Zooey Deschanel's Jess finds friendship and love after moving into a loft apartment with 3 guys. Some of the funniest performances in the show come from Nick and Schmidt, 2 of the sitcom world's most hilarious characters. Brandon Sklenar doesn't have a massive role in New Girl, only appearing in 1 episode with a character simply referred to as Loner. He was still trying to get his foot in the door, so there isn't much to his character. But the fact that Sklenar was able to get a small part in New Girl during the height of its popularity shows that he was working hard to finally break through in the industry, which he would eventually accomplish. While it doesn't reach the same heights as other Adam McKay movies like Anchorman or The Big Short, Vice is a fascinating look at Dick Cheney while he was vice president for George W. Bush. What makes Vice work so well is how committed a performance Christian Bale gives as Cheney, often capturing the ruthless nature of the political figure and shedding light onto some of the things he put into motion during his time as the vice president. Most of Brandon Sklenar's earlier roles were quite small, getting just a bit of screen time, and the same goes for Vice, where he plays Bobby Prentice. It isn't a substantial role at all, but he does an admirable job with the time he has in the movie. Mostly, though, Vice is a vehicle to witness the immense talent of Christian Bale as an actor. Westworld is a fascinating HBO series that explores artificial intelligence through the lens of a highly immersive theme park. It's based upon the 1973 film of the same name, and while it doesn't knock it out of the park every season at its peak, Westworld is some of the best TV HBO has ever put out. The inconsistent quality keeps it from truly being an all-time series, but it is still really great, with a tense, thought-provoking narrative throughout. Brandon Sklenar appears in 2 episodes in the 4th and final season of Westworld, playing a character named Henry. Like most of his relatively early roles, there isn't much to his character in Westworld, but Brandon Sklenar was consistently getting his name out there, and appearing in a series like Westworld was probably a solid boost to his resume as an actor. When it was released, Emily the Criminal was a pleasant surprise, as it was an outstanding thriller with a star performance from Aubrey Plaza as the titular character. This tells the story of a young woman who gets involved in the Los Angeles criminal underworld, following a credit card scam as she is saddled with student loan debt and job insecurity. Emily the Criminal is a smartly written thriller that touches on a lot of social commentary about wealth and class. While Aubrey Plaza is the main focus of Emily the Criminal, the movie also features some other great performances, including Brandon Sklenar as Brent. It's not a substantial role within the film, but it highlights how talented he is as an actor, with Sklenar making the most out of every minute he has on the screen. It's an admirable job alongside other outstanding performers. It Ends With Us was the highly anticipated adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel of the same name, and ended up doing extremely well financially, tapping into the book talk fandom that surrounds the popular author. While the film has since been plagued with controversy behind the scenes, it captures what made the book so popular, with a rather compelling drama at the center of the narrative, with some really strong performances for the genre it is. It is also one of Brandon Sklenar's most involved roles, as he plays Atlas Corrigan, the childhood sweetheart of Blake Lively's Lily Bloom, who re-enters her life while she is in a troubled relationship with Justin Baldoni's Ryle Kincaid. Sklenar is really great in It Ends With Us, bringing a comforting presence to his role that feels like a breath of fresh air amidst the heavy moments throughout the film. Yellowstone became a TV phenomenon after it premiered, eventually evolving into a massive franchise that includes multiple spin-offs. 1923 is one of those, acting as a prequel to Yellowstone and telling the story of the Dutton family and a period of hard times. 1923 is quite grim with its narrative, but is still an incredible watch, featuring some truly amazing performances from legendary actors. 1923 is easily the biggest role of Brandon Sklenar's career, and his first big break in Hollywood after mostly appearing in small roles throughout his career. In 1923, he plays Spencer Dutton, the younger son of Cara Dutton and Jacob Dutton, who are respectively portrayed by Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford. There is a lot of complexity to Spencer Dutton, who witnessed the horrors of World War I and travels around Africa as a big game tracker. And Brandon Sklenar is phenomenal in the role, making him one of the most interesting characters in the show.